It's the Terrible at Fishing radio show on Gold Country Radio. Here's your fishing expert and host, Michael Rafino.
Well, welcome back to Terrible at Fishing, everybody. We are having a really good week. I am feeling better. So my RSV has subsided, which is great. My frostbite seems to be doing a little bit better. My fingers are the two fingers are almost back to normal color, but still dead as a doornail on the tips. You know, it's really hard to type. It really is. I mean, it's like my fingers really should know what to do by now, all these years, but they seem to be missing stuff. You really need your fingertips. Well, we have finished a 32-year storm, which is awesome, and we have good ice at our local lakes, so still you could get out there, and I do some great ice fishing. And speaking about ice fishing, you remember last week we talked about my event on Saturday, which was the Lake of the Woods Terrible at Fishing Ice Fishing Derby, and we had 75 people or so show up for the derby, and a lot more than that. We're actually having fun out on the lake, and we, even though I couldn't get out on the ice with you guys, I had a great time watching your reactions. The children bringing the fish up to me, their smiles, their stories, and I'll tell you that that really is why I do what I do. My favorite thing to do is to give stuff to people. I just enjoy it. I had a lot of prizes that I donated, and I even had an ice fishing tent. And the neat thing about the ice fishing tent is that it was one of many, many prizes, and that went to the person with the biggest fish was a fisherman named Jesse, and he had let me see, I'm looking through all the fish, and yeah, Jesse, and he got to choose any prize he wanted. And he had a beautiful rainbow trout. His son had a prettier rainbow trout, by the way. So, but he had the bigger one. And he chose one of my prizes that I made. Not the tent, but a cribbage board that I had made and painted. It's a custom. I love making cribbage boards. His son, Remington, really had the prettiest fish. His son had the prettiest fish, and beautiful rainbow trout, great magenta color on it. And Remington, him and his dad, they won a couple prizes. And of course, making sure everybody gets what they want. We had several sockeye salmons, or kokanee salmon. 3 of them caught, and we had a German brown trout caught, lots of perch, of course, and our biggest perch was 9 inches, which is a big perch for Lake of the Woods. We had quite a few between 8 and 9 inches. Most of them were pretty fat because they were females, and they were full of eggs, which is great getting them out of the lake before they lay their eggs, because you really just want to thin that out. But we had a lot of 8 to 9 inch perch caught, lots of them. Jesse and Remington, they caught 40 fish in total. So we had a young fisher girl, Sawyer. She won some stuff, and David won some stuff, and we just had a really, really nice time. I think the biggest, let me see, the biggest kokanee salmon. There it is. Oh, that's a pretty one, though, but it wasn't the biggest. I didn't write down everybody's winnings. I used my app, my Fish Techie app, and it does AI weighing and measuring and stuff like that. And I love that because I had all these fish. I just take this little ball that it uses as a scale, and then I put it next to the fish, take a picture, and it goes ahead and figures out all the dimensions, the girth, the length, and the weight. And since I did that to all fish, it was all fair, and it's about 96% accurate. So, but when you're doing so many, this is really, really nice. I really like this Fish Techie app. The app itself is free, but you got to buy these two little balls, and they're called proof balls, and you can get them on Amazon. You see, what's it called? It's called Proof Ball. That's what it's called by Fly Techie. Let's go figure. It's Fly Techie is the company that makes the balls. Fish Techie is the app. But wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we had such a good time. And had a young man. He looked like he was about 12, and he took the tent. And perfect, because he can stand up in the tent. It's a one-man tent or two kids. And it was a nice little tent. Again, it was one of those things that I had and was happy to give away and support the whole thing. And we had such a good time visiting with a lot of people. There was a group of women they were wilding. And I ain't never heard of it either, but they were trying to get in touch with their wild side. And they went snowshoeing. It's a big group out of Grants Pass in that area. And they got girls over there that need to get wild, evidently. But they were a bunch of sweet ladies. And fun, actually. They were very funny. And one of them's on a show coming up, Naked and Afraid, one of the leaders. So evidently she's already got her wild side. I asked her, because so why are you on that show? And she goes, oh, they just asked. I go, oh. And I looked at her and I says, I remember college back in the early 80s. It seemed harder. So they asked you want to get naked and afraid? You said, yeah, sure, why not? So anyway, she's evidently on that show this week. Her name was Sky, I think, but that's not her name on the show. I guess that they're using her real name. But anyway, she's from our area. But we had a really nice time. The Marina made breakfast pizza. Oh man, his breakfast pizza is like a quiche, and it's so good. And then he had this broccoli cheddar soup. It was really good. I mean, on a cold day like that, you just want soup and sandwich. And he was serving soup and sandwiches. And that's a nice thing about Aaron. At the Lake of the Woods Marina, is really the best eatery, I think, at Lake of the Woods. I mean, one of the best pizzas you'll ever eat. And on events, he will surprise you with things like breakfast pizza. And it's really, really good. So, the day was beautiful. It really was beautiful. I mean, I know the storm came in later in the day, but it was after the event. And Sunday, it was sort of like a free-for-all derby without me. And people still had a great time winning prizes that Lake of the Woods donated on that day. But it was just a beautiful day with people and with the community. This was a free event, a community event that we put on, and it's one of 3 derbies a year, fishing stuff, and next one's going to be the first weekend in June for the kids, and that's probably the best day of the year, that Saturday. And then we have one in September, which is a big derby. And all these derbies are free. Now, the one in June for the kids, it's a catch and cook. So they catch it. We have the Boy Scouts volunteer, and they clean the fish, and then we have grills set up for the fish to get cooked, and the kids can eat it. And it's just, and these are big trout. These are trophy-sized trout. And so the kids get to see from water to plate. And it's just a great time to see the kids light up like that. I've been pretty busy with making baits and I've discovered games in my creation, and using my artistic skills to make unique games. And I'm just having a good old time making cribbage boards. I know, cribbage. You probably, the young ones out there probably don't even know what cribbage is, but cribbage is basically a race using points you get from cards. And you deal out cards, and you get points for pairs and for runs and stuff like that. And then you got this little racetrack at the cribbage board with pegs, and you race those pegs all the way to the 121. And you can make multiple laps if you want, but just a lot of fun, actually. And it's very quick, very fast-paced, very competitive. Ask anybody who's played cribbage. They've been playing cribbage for decades upon decades upon decades, and it's still one of their favorite games. I know, and I'm just having a good old time making these cribbage boards. I know. It's the simple things in life. I even made myself my own Scrabble board because we didn't own Scrabble in our family. I don't know why, because I like Scrabble. So I made a Scrabble board. A Bigfoot one. Bigfoot is one of our favorite mascots locally. Everybody loves Bigfoot. I mean, even if you don't believe in Bigfoot, you love the mythology and the possibilities of Bigfoot. I mean, just to know, let's say he's out there, just for argument's sake. Let's just say he's out there. He's the best hide and seeker ever, and we know he's friendly. Yep, he's a friendly guy, because I've never heard of anybody killed by Bigfoot. So, there you go. He's a big, friendly dude or dudette. We're not impartial. Or we are impartial. We're not partial. That's what I meant. So I've been making a lot of Bigfoot stuff because, Bigfoot's fun. Yeah, there's many people that believe they've seen Bigfoot. Just because you haven't seen him doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I've never seen an elk. I've never seen an elk. I know. You guys are saying, Mike, they're all over the place. I don't think so. Because if they were all over the place, and as much as I'm outside, I would have seen one by now. But I ain't never seen an elk. I went to Sequim, Washington, where my in-laws lived. And they said, oh, we got lots of elk. I said, great. So I went up there, spent a week, sat on a porch, looked, never saw an elk. I'm pretty sure Bigfoot's pet is an elk. I'm pretty sure, because I ain't never seen either one of them, but everybody says they exist. I know. They said, well, here's pictures of it. Look, there's pictures. I know. Yeah, there's pictures of Bigfoot too. But you know what? I ain't never seen them. Doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm just saying that in front of this Italian, they don't make an appearance at all. Evidently, they got a white butt. I don't know why. And I asked my buddy, I go, well, isn't that a white-tailed deer? He goes, no, that's the tail. Elk have white butts. I said, oh, because one day I came home and this big mule deer was in my front yard, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's got to be an elk. So I took pictures of it, and it was a mule deer. Mule deers are rather, bulky. And I thought it was an elk. I don't know. So I'm still learning. Still waiting to see my very first elk and Bigfoot. But in the meantime, it's not like I doubt everybody, but I do enjoy the thought of believing in them. All right. Well, let's take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk more about the events of Klamath Falls.
Out in the backwoods under the stars, I tune in the radio from my old car. Gold country radio on Friday night. Terrible at fishing, but it feels just right.
Want to get your business noticed? Sponsor a show on KKFO Gold Country Radio on 103.3 FM and create awareness through on-air announcements, our online stream at goldcountryradio.org, and our podcasts that live on forever. Your message reaches a broad local audience while also targeting listeners who choose to tune in to the shows they love. Plus, we promote your sponsorship across our website and social media. For more information, email goldcountryradio@gmail.com. Call 541-238-6989 or visit goldcountryradio.org. Gold Country Radio, your message heard locally and beyond.
The Terrible at Fishing radio show. Michael's got the secrets and now you know. Can't lie, you cast just fine. Gold Country Radio.
All right, welcome back to Terrible at Fishing, everybody. Now that I'm feeling better, I'm getting outside again. You get cabin crazy, don't you? You get stir crazy, and you just got to get out. But so I went to, I took my daughter to her class, her school, and then afterwards, we stopped by Cook Woods. Cook Woods is an exotic wood dealer here in town. It's at the end of Shasta Way, and it is the best smelling store, or it's not really a store, it's more of a warehouse where a lot of wood is, but it smells great. All the aromas of all these different woods, and it's gorgeous wood. He has exotic woods, right? He has normal woods and he has exotic woods. So, and I'm poor, so I can't afford, a lot of his wood. So I always go to the other warehouse where he's got scrap woods. And then, they're in big cardboard bins. And I discovered a new wood. And when I go look at wood, it's sometimes it speaks to me. It tells me what it wants me to do with it. I know it sounds weird, but that's what happens with an artist. It actually tells you what the possibility is. And in our mind, we see it. Sort of like when I bought my 69 Dodge Charger, it was a piece of junk. My wife thought it was the ugliest car in the world, but I saw in my mind what the finished product was. So even as ugly as it was, when it was beautiful to me. And when I finished it, she finally got to see how gorgeous a 69 Dodge Charger is. So I found this piece of wood, this type of wood, and it's called Osage Orange. Osage Orange. And Osage Orange wood is in that yellow, real deep yellow tone. It's gorgeous. I've never seen a wood like this. I mean, I've seen lots of wood. You're used to wood, right? But the Osage Orange is got a deep yellow and a beautiful grain to it. Oh, it's beautiful. And Osage Orange wood, is known for being really, really dense and hard. So it was used for, it's also called bow wood. The indigenous tribes used it to make bows. It's very rare. It's not a common wood. And it comes from an orange tree, and the Osage orange tree. And the tree is native to the Great Plains region of North America. It's got a beautiful red bark on it, and it's just gorgeous. So this piece was in one of the bins, and the color hit me like like a rock. And I knew exactly when I saw it what I wanted to do with this. And I do wood burning. And so I wanted to put a tiger, because the richness of the yellow on this, and then the beauty of the grain both imitated the body of a tiger. So I burned a tiger's head staring directly at you. And then, the one thing about art is whenever I create art, I focus a lot on the eyes. And so I painted these eyes in order to make them really stand out. And it turned out absolutely, well, it's stunning. Now, I'm a little partial since I created it, but the grain looks like stripes on the tiger in the wood. The yellow, that's just the tiger, right? I mean, you want orange, and Osage Orange can be orange, but this is a very yellow piece. And then, of course, the live edges on this piece just accentuate it. On the back of it, I put, the details of what Osage Orange wood is, and what this piece of wood is. And it turned out, and one thing you'll find, I'm very passionate about everything. When it comes to fishing, I'm passionate at fishing. When I do art or when I create, I'm just very passionate about these things. And when I write, if you ever read one of my books, you will get a feel from the writing. It's not just antiquated information. There's a lot of me, a lot of my personality put in my literature. And I've got 8 books on the market, just FYI. And one's a bestseller. And the rest of them, I just didn't name them right. You got to really name them right to really find tap into those markets. But nonetheless, I am just thrilled to death with this Osage Orange wood. And it's something I've never heard of before. Something that struck me like a ton of bricks. And when I finished it, it just turned out so. And then it changes with light. The grain will actually disappear and then reappear depending on the angle of light that you have put upon this. Really is a fantastic. Whoever buys it is just going to, put it on. It's only 7 by 8 inches, but it turned out so beautiful. You can just put it on your desk and just look at that and just have it look. It's just beautiful. Maybe I won't sell it. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's just so pretty, so pretty. And I wish I could, I don't have a CNC machine to make, cribbage boards out of wood, but maybe one day we'll get a CNC machine. But that is, I'm looking at it right now, and this is just an amazing, piece that anybody would be happy. So enough of me bragging about my latest endeavor on art. Now I did get some about 20 blanks of the 4.5 inch square bills, and these are big giant baits. And for a square bill, I've never seen a bigger square bill. These things are going to be fantastic this summer. So we'll get to painting those and have fun with those. So it's just a good time. The snow is melting. We're starting to see the ground again. And, my hand is coming back. And my lungs, lungs are lungs. But not as bad as they were last week. And then I've started to make these cribbage boards that everybody seems to enjoy. And I've been learning cribbage because I didn't know how to play it. And it's very competitive. I know. It's very competitive. You play against somebody, and it can get pretty hairy. But what my machines are doing, what I am doing, mixing new colors, some beautiful, vibrant colors for my baits. Some of them are in the fluorescent range of colors. And so we're going to do some really fun testing. And then with my big baits, where some of them will have a collector's box, but some of them will have these. Have you ever seen on your people that put these really thick vinyl bags with Velcro, and they fold it over the shaft of their rod, and then and it covers their baits, and it keeps the bait from catching on other things and tangling up on your other rods. Anyway, it's a great little thing. I've always wanted some, but I never got any. So I bought a lot of them. And so some of my big baits are going to have this bag that you will use, and you would appreciate it immensely, because these run about $5, just the bag. Really thick vinyl. I mean, I use really sharp hooks, and they don't poke through it. And anyway, you just, instead of throwing away the packaging, you actually will use this in order to keep your baits from hooking other things. And it'll be really a nice thing for you to have. If you don't have them, you probably should get them, because I should have got them a long time ago. Because I've taken a lot of hooks out of my legs. A lot of hooks. And one day, I'm going to show you, I should make a video on my YouTube channel on how to remove a hook. I have done it a couple times on video when I did hook myself. And then I just, somewhere on my YouTube channel. I have thousands of videos on my YouTube channel. So if any of you ever wonder, you want to binge watch? I've got playlists of lakes of Southeast Oregon. I have a lot of Lake of the Woods ones, because I'm there a lot. And ice fishing ones. I started a fly fishing one as I learned more about fly fishing. And but my favorite, I've told you, is the Not Anymore playlist. It is basically all videos are less than 7 minutes, and they teach you something about fishing, about species, about different baits, about tying knots, about casting. My favorite rod is a bait casting reel. And once you go into bait casting, once you learn it, it is very, very difficult to go back to spinning rods. Now, spinning rods still have a place in my arsenal, but bait casting is really 90% of my fishing. It is, except for ice fishing. Ice fishing, we use a different type of reel altogether. I use an inline reel. It looks like a fly fishing reel, is what it looks like. It's just a spool basically. But this one's got actually a gear ratio on it, a 3-to-1, and it frees up wonderfully to drop even a 1/80th of an ounce jig. And that's something that all the others can't do. And so when I go ice fishing, I actually have this inline ice fishing reel. And it is really the best reel for ice fishing. I would definitely go with a 2 or 4 pound test for your ice fishing, because you really want a light line. You don't want the line to stop your drop of a very light jig. Now, 1/80th of an ounce is a very, very light. It's the lightest jig I've ever seen. And a company called Mule, like the mule, like a jackass, Mule Fishing. Mule Fishing makes those, and I've never seen it available anywhere else. But Ethan, the guy who designed it and he owns Mule Fishing, I actually interviewed him on my Terrible at Fishing YouTube channel. So it's a good video to watch with Ethan and why he calls it mule fishing and where he got his ideas from. He's very much into finesse fishing. So he loves crappie fishing, pan fishing, and stuff like that. But some of these are also made for bass and trout and stuff like that. So I actually have, in my tackle bag, I always have mule fishing gear in it. Jigs and soft plastics. And I always go out with them. So that tells you something about, in fact, mule fishing, let me think, except for one bait by 6 cents, everything else I make. So I make all my baits. So my hard baits and my soft baits. But go to my YouTube channel, Terrible at Fishing, and see what I've been up to. And see some of these events that I keep talking about. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in this week. And I will see you guys out on the water or on the ice. Or on my YouTube channel. You'll see me. Anyway, you guys take care. Tight lines to you all. And be safe out there. As the ice warms up, it'll start to thin out. So please, in the next couple of weeks, you got good ice fishing. But after that, please be safe.
That was Terrible at Fishing, the radio show, with fishing expert Michael Rafino. Check out Terrible at Fishing on YouTube, and tune in next week for the next episode and more great fishing tips. Terrible at Fishing, Fridays at 7 p.m. on Gold Country Radio.